Tonight on News 5 Live, the chair of the National Environmental Appraisal Committee breaks his silence on NEAC's near unanimous decision to reject the Port of Belize expansion project. A dispute over the implementation of the FPIC protocol. The CCJ and the Maya's Media Alliance criticizes the Briceño administration. Senior counsel Andrew Marshallek says many quibbles over meaningless details. And the brass of the Belize Police Department meets in Belmopan to discuss crime fighting ahead of the new year. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
It's that time of the year when all that stands between you and all of this is...
Give me five. Give me five. Give me five.
That's all it takes. Get your coupons at Channel 5 and Coney Drive and Channel 5's website. Then, starting Monday, December 5th, keep those phones close and tune into Channel 5 at 8 p.m. as we start our nightly giveaways until Friday, December 9th. Remember, when the phone rings, don't say
hello.
Say, give me five.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Thursday, December 1st. I am Sabrina Daly. A decision by the National Environmental Appraisal Committee, NEAC, was rendered last week in respect of the proposed Port of Belize expansion project. In the wake of that decision, which was a near unanimous vote against the project, NEAC, as well as the Ministry of Sustainable Development, remained tight-lipped about the rationale behind that decision. Finally, there is official word from NEAC regarding the proposed Port of Belize expansion project by Waterloo. Today, News 5 spoke with the chairman, Dr. Kenrick William, about the decision and what that means for the project. The CEO in the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management says that members of the committee provided expert research on various aspects of the project, but in the end, its recommendation had to go against the project.
We had the meeting of the NEAC last week. Indeed, there was several deliberation in terms of the NEAC, in terms of the public's opinion, perceptions of the project, and of course what is presented to them in the form of the environmental and social impact assessment, as well as the addendum and the broader technical information that was presented. So usually that's the extent of the review of the NEAC, and as is in the public, the NEAC has made a decision or a recommendation to the Department of the Environment as it relates to this specific project. Now the DOE now is looking at that information. Is one component of its deliberation is what the NEAC presents, but is also then, go back through the document, look at what is presented, look at the recommendation of the NEAC, the public opinion, the reports provided. So it's in the process of making sure that there's a very comprehensive analysis, and based on that would respond to the developer.
So NEAC did say no?
NEAC did recommend a no to the project.
Some would
but that's
say
not the end of the process, right? That then goes to the department, and the department deliberates with that information and what is presented.
Initial reports indicated that members of NEAC voted unanimously against the project. But today, the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry issued a statement clarifying its stance regarding the recent rejection of the Port of Belize expansion project by the National Environmental Appraisal Committee. According to the Chamber, a vote was taken last Thursday on the environmental impact assessment for the Port of Belize cargo expansion, cruise terminal and tourism village project, but that they voted in favor of the project and that NEAC's decision was not unanimous. The release goes on to say that the BCCI's representative was unable to attend the meeting due to extenuating circumstances. So its vote did not take into account any technical or scientific comments from other NEAC members, which were shared at the meeting on November 24th. But is this the end-all be-all for the project? NEAC Chairman Dr. Kenrick Williams is also the CEO for the Department of Environment that hands down the final decision.
So remember, this is a process of the Department of the Environment. It convenes these technical people based on the legislation with legislative backing and say, we have this project, we need input from all of these technical expertise. I need to make a decision as a department. I need your your technical experience, your support, your review of this process helped me to make a decision. So based on what was established, they make a recommendation to the department. Now the department takes that information, reviews it further, and then looks at whether it endorses that decision, and then it informs the developer.
Have we ever seen in the past where a recommendation made by NIAC is not taken by the Department of Environment?
It could not be taken fully. They could look at portions of that decision. Maybe they want to strengthen, to further review, to amend certain components of its recommendation. So yeah, it takes that into consideration fully.
But that has never happened.
It has.
When that the DOE has said, which also you're the boss, the DOE has said, hey, yes, NIAC, I understand the recommendation that you're making, but I disagree. Go ahead to that developer.
As I've said, they can amend portions of that. They have amended portions of that recommendation. They've gone back to the NIAC to look at parts of that recommendation, looked at whether it's from again, based on a technical review of the NIAC, the comments, the discussions, the deliberations, and says, well, can we consider this further? Can we elaborate on this further? Maybe they can amend the size of what is presented or the extent of what is presented. So that can happen.
People just want to understand, because if I'm not mistaken, this project has gone to consultation at least 4 times, and so just trying to understand what's the process like.
Right. So like I said, now with the review of the recommendation of the review and then recommendation of the NIAC, last week then that is presented to the DOE, and DOE makes a final determination, and then.
Is there a timeline by when DOE is supposed to respond?
We try to be there's a 60-day period from when the information was submitted, when we have to respond to the developers. Okay. And so we're trying to meet that timeline. We're just around that timeline, and so we're having the technical people work on finalizing that.
Coming up, Christina Koch accuses GOB unilaterally implementing FPIC.
Well, when I was your age, I remember beautiful coral reefs and healthy beaches. The summers weren't as hot as they are right now, and the rainy season meant that it only rained when it was supposed to.
And then what happened?
The weather just started to change, and storms got worse. Coral reefs started to die because the ocean was getting too warm, and crops started to die because there was not much rain. You know, we realized as adults that we were doing something that was causing this.
What were you all doing?
The same thing we're doing now. Not using clean, renewable energy, chopping down too many trees, and even polluting the air with gases such as the gases emitted from our cars when we drive around.
We need some help before it's too late, Mom. We can't let it get worse.
What can I do?
We can raise our voices.
With 35 million dreams, aspirations, and futures at risk in Cari Forum, we need your voice in our story against climate change. Acknowledge, commit, act. This message is brought to you by the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center under the Intra-ACP Global Climate Change Alliance Plus program and is funded by the European Union.
This message is brought to you by the Insurance Corporation of Belize. Please be advised that all claims relating to Hurricane Lisa must be submitted by the 2nd of December 2022. To report a claim, call 224-5328 or 224-5329. Call or WhatsApp 613-0693 or 613-0645. Email icb@icbinsurance.com. Claim forms are available on icbinsurance.com. We are aware that this is your time of need, and we will do our best to efficiently serve you. May God bless you and your family and keep you safe.
It's that time of the year when all that stands between you and all of this is...
Give me five. Give me five. Give me five.
That's all it takes. Get your coupons at Channel 5 and Coney Drive and Channel 5's website. Then, starting Monday, December 5th, keep those phones close and tune in to Channel 5 at 8 p.m. as we start our nightly giveaways until Friday, December 9th. Remember, when the phone rings, don't say
Hello.
Say, give me five.
Caribbean Court of Justice chastised the government of Belize following reports that GOB has moved to implement a draft free, prior, and informed consent protocol without first consulting the claimants, particularly the Toledo Alcaldes Association. During its latest compliance hearing, Justice Adrian Saunders, the president of the CCJ, told government's lead attorney Andrew Marshallek that he was, quote, disappointed to hear that the FPIC protocol could be finalized by one party and be implemented, and the other party has not seen the final version. That is very disappointing, end quote. These compliance hearings are set up as a mechanism to provide updates to the CCJ on how the government of Belize has been progressing in the implementation of the Maya customary land rights. Today we spoke with Christina Koch, the spokesperson for the Toledo Alcalde Association, and the Mayan claimants via Zoom. She asserts that the government of Belize has been undermining the role of the TAA in this process.
I think it was clear, and I think that we have been sounding the alarm for some time now over the last 7 years since we began to attempt to implement this consent order. We have been time and time again reporting non-compliance in many regards. We've been reporting that at least in the last 2 years, there seems to be an intentional shift to remove the meaningful participation of the Maya party in the implementation of this consent order. The government seems to have this overarching policy of moving forward in this implementation in a unilateral fashion, excluding the involvement and participation of, in particular, the Toledo Alcaldes Association, undermining its role. And I think that we've said this time and time again at court, and I'm not surprised But I am certainly grateful that the court has seen and has heard and continues to monitor that this is a unilateral process. And I think the court made it very clear to remind us all, both parties, that this implementation of the consent order arose not out of government's intent or desire to implement or to protect Maya people's land rights, but it arose out of litigation, and it arose out of a court order telling them that whether or not they themselves recognize indigenous people's rights, lands, and territories, the highest court, the highest appellate court, has affirmed that these rights exist and that they must be protected, and that the government has a duty and an obligation to do so. And so the court reminded us that the Maya party has a stake in how this consent order is implemented.
The Toledo Alcalde Association and the Maya Leaders Alliance has raised a number of issues with the proposed draft of the FPIC protocol, according to COG. One such matter arises from a portion of the draft document which states that the government is not obligated to consult with indigenous communities where it concerns matters of emergency and national security. COG says she views this as a loophole for the government to exploit the process.
We have raised many times concerns with the government's proposed draft of the FPIC protocol. Unfortunately, the government has been non-responsive to our feedback, our comments, our inputs, and the concerns that we have raised. In particular, there is, if you want me to look at just the big ticket issues we have with the current, at least we haven't seen the latest draft, but the last draft we saw, we had issues and we raised issues with, for example, the broad loophole that is left in the protocol that says the government is not obligated to consult, let alone get consent, where it concerns matters or circumstances of emergency, public interest, public health, national security. And so they're saying that they do not need to even consult with the communities in those instances. But the definition is broad and it is left for interpretation. Who determines the degree of emergency? In addition to that, at the very minimum, the communities should be notified of activities of emergency that the government is going to impose on them, at least to the extent that the circumstances provide. Otherwise, this could become the loophole for government to categorize everything they want to do on Maya lands as a matter of emergency.
We also asked Cox about the reports that U.S. Capital Energy is in discussions with Maya communities on the return of oil exploration in southern Belize. News 5 understands that U.S. Capital Energy is seeking approval from a number of indigenous communities to this end. Reports suggest that several communities have already given their approvals to the company. Here is what Cox had to say.
Here's my take on all of that. I am aware that the government is moving in the Maya communities. Yes, that is correct. I am aware, and as you heard them reporting to the Caribbean Court of Justice, that they seem to think that they are implementing the free, prior, informed consent protocol through these processes, that they are engaged in consultations. No. My concern is that we have not yet agreed on what the free, prior, informed consent protocol in its final draft will look like. We have not resolved all the issues. Yet, I find it alarming that you are going to go and train on this protocol that is not yet agreed upon, and you're going to go implement it. What exactly are you implementing? It is concerning to me because it risks the exploitation of Maya people's resources and lands without due process. And what I see from my observation, I see the government partnering and coming along with the proponent to U.S. Capitol in this case to engage the communities in what they're calling preliminary meetings. And let's just look at the mechanics of it. They send you a notification. The first red flag was they sent a notification to the chairpersons of the village and completely ignoring that there is a Toledo Alcaldes Association. There is alcaldes of those villages that are also leaders of the community that must be notified. This is a continuous pattern of the government to undermine the traditional governance institution of the Maya people, who have continuously raised issues with the way that government unilaterally engages.
Late this evening, we spoke with Senior Counsel Andrew Marszalek, government's lead attorney in their effort to implement the Maya customary land rights in Belize. According to Marszalek, Christina Koch and the Mayan claimants are making much ado about nothing. He responded to the assertion that the Toledo Alcalde Association is being excluded from the process. Marszalek also spoke to the objections the TAA has raised to certain aspects of the protocol. He described their complaints as quibble over meaningless details.
I don't think there's any exclusion. I think there may be issues over the degrees of participation and the degrees of consultation and when it takes place. The government committed to implement consent order in consultation with Maya people. There's been significant consultation. The court took issue with the fact that an amended version of the FPIC policy wasn't sent. The changes to the policies are really meaningless and insignificant. The policy itself has been in their possession for a long time, and the criticisms and changes they asked for it were all addressed, and they were told whether individually, in writing, which were being accepted and which weren't. The FPIC protocol, I think, is being elevated to something that it really was never intended to be. The FPIC protocol was meant to hold the ring while the order was being implemented, and it falls away as soon as the appropriate legislation has been enacted. So it's a temporary measure. It's not the beginning and end of this. But there seem to be so many quibbling over what I consider to be really meaningless details on it, that are focused more on process and form rather than on achieving the overall result. Our focus has been trying to find a way to implement the policy in a way that implement the consent order in a way that's fair to all Belizeans. And you have to put what has happened in its overall context. The overall context is that you have 10% of the population claiming a portion of land that amounts to about 20% of the overall land mass of the country.
Senior Counsel Marszalek says that in order for Belizeans to appreciate the magnitude of the task the government of Belize has undertaken to fully implement the customary Maya land rights in Belize, they must first understand the claim in dollars and cents. So he broke it down for us, noting that while the government must recognize the property rights of the Maya people through legislation, the entire population must decide how those policies will be framed.
Just to appreciate the magnitude of what's happening, because people like to, I think they'll appreciate dollars and cents if it's expressed in terms of dollars and cents instead of percentages. Mm-hmm. You have, going by the valuation of the customary Maya land rights as presented in the recent Alacte case by experts on behalf of the Maya village of Alacte, puts the value of Maya customer land tenure at about $200,000 an acre, and that claim is approaching, it's a little more than 1 million acres. So you're looking at a $200 billion proposition the impact of that is monumental, and the process for dealing with it is complex. So it's not something that you'll just jump up and, as a Belizean people, just throw something out there. It needs to be fully considered and all its implications fully appreciated, and there needs to be full consultations, and everybody needs to be brought on board with however it is that we as a people decide we want to treat with it. And that's in the context of recognizing that we must recognize the property rights of the Maya peoples within the existing constitutional framework. But I say that just to emphasize that the task ahead is a difficult and a large one. And it's difficult enough without all the quibbling over all the little things that really at the end of the day will mean very little.
After the break, a new integrity commission is sworn in under the Briceño administration.
We understand that there aren't enough hours in the day. That's why RF&G is working to make the process of renewing your insurance policies easier. WhatsApp the words "Get Started" to 670-8700. We will prompt you to select the service you are interested in. Select the service and answer a few simple questions. An RF&G representative will process your request and follow up with you when your transaction is completed. It's that easy. Use WhatsApp and skip the lines. Remember, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a Road Group company.
I was 17 and in love, and I thought he loved me too. But now I know that a loving partner should not take away your choice of clothes you wear or the music you listen to. He should not take away your purse, car keys, or your phone so that when your family calls, you cannot answer. If your partner is controlling you, it is domestic violence. Call 0800 A Way Out or our cell phone number 672-9628.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart.
It's time to power your dollar with Smart. Social Security, transforming service delivery. My Social Security is your secure online account to manage all your Social Security information. My Social Security launched in March 2021 with registration service to apply online for new or replacement Social Security cards. Upgrades to My Social Security continues with a new look, enhanced customer experience, and its newest feature, Sickness Benefit Online application. With My Social Security, you can create your account, log in, and take control of your Social Security information. This includes applying for a new or replacement Social Security card for yourself, child, or dependent. Make appointments online and submit your complete sickness benefit claim package. Our customer care team is here to provide you, our valued customers, with real-time support. Connect with one of our customer care agents through direct messages on WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, or live chat, or follow our YouTube channel for more information, tutorials, and guides.
A complete 360 view of your Social Security information is coming soon, which includes a new employer portal for employers, businesses, and self-employed persons, contributions history and statements, all SSB benefits, medical portal for registered doctors, and fingerprint enrollment all in one place. Social Security at your fingertips. The significant enhancement of service delivery to you is here. My Social Security.
It's that time of the year when all that stands between you and all of this is...
Give me 5, give me 5, give me 5!
That's all it takes. Get your coupons at Channel 5 and Coney Drive and Channel 5's website. Then, starting Monday, December 5th, keep those phones close and tune in to Channel 5 at 8 p.m. as we start our nightly giveaways until Friday, December 9th. Remember, when the phone rings, don't say
hello.
Say, give me 5.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use E-kyash. With E-kyash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With E-kyash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the split the bill button where he selects the evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via E-kyash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
Digi will be giving away over $50,000 in cash and prizes this Christmas, and we want you to help us spread the holiday cheer. This season, every prize winner gets the opportunity to pay it forward to a family or friend. It's easy. You win and you select someone to win the same prize. Now that's exciting. This Christmas, be gifted and pay it forward only with Digi. Season's greetings from our national telecom.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway, from Roaring Creek to Esperanza, has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times, and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
A new Integrity Commission has been sworn into office several months after a motion was passed in the National Assembly for the appointment of its members. On Wednesday at Belize House in Belmopan, 7 persons, including Chairman Andrea McSweeney McCoy, George Swift, Zoe Robertson Zetina, Ricardo Mogale, Catherine Main, Payal Ganwani, and Gerard Isigeri, were administered the oath of office before Governor General Forla Salam. The swearing-in was in accordance with Section 3, 2, and 1 of the Prevention of Corruption Act, Chapter 105 of the Laws of Belize. The members will serve in this capacity for a period of 2 years.
I, Andrea McSweeney McCoy, do swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to Belize and will uphold the Constitution and the law, and that I will conscientiously, impartially, and to the best of my ability discharge my duties as Chairperson, Integrity Commission, and do right to all manner of people without fear or favor, affection, or ill will. So help me God.
I, George Swift, do swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to Belize and will uphold the Constitution and the law, and I will conscientiously, impartially, and to the best of my ability discharge my duties as Member, Integrity Commission, and to do right to all manner of people without fear or favor, affection or ill will. So help me God.
I, Catherine Main, do swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to Belize and will uphold the Constitution and law, and that I will conscientiously, impartially, and to the best of my ability discharge my duties as Member, Integrity Commission, and do right in all manner of people without fear of failure, affliction, or ill will. So help me God.
I, Gerard Isigeri, do swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to Belize and uphold the Constitution and the law, and that I will conscientiously, impartially, and to the best of my ability discharge my duties as Member, Integrity Commission, and do right to all manner of people without fear or favor, affection or ill will. So help me God.
I, Payal Ganwani, do swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to Belize and will uphold the Constitution and the law, and that I will conscientiously, impartially, and to the best of my ability discharge my duties as a member of the Integrity Commission and do right to all manner of people without fear, favor, affection, or ill will.
I, Ricardo Mogale, do swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to Belize and will uphold the Constitution and the law, and that I will conscientiously, impartially, and to the best of my ability discharge my duties as member of the Integrity Commission and do right to all manner of people without fear or favor, affection, or ill will. So help me God.
I, Zoe Robertson Zetina, do swear that I will bear true fruit and allegiance to Belize and will uphold the Constitution and the law, and that I will consciously, impartially, and to the best of my ability discharge my duties as Member, Integrity Commission, and do right to all manner of people without fear or favor, affection, or ill will.
A declaration of intent between the United Nations country team and the National Assembly of Belize was signed this morning at the Leigh Richardson Building in Belmopan. Birgit Gerstenberg, resident coordinator of the United Nations Belize, and Valerie Woods, Speaker of the House of Representatives, delivered addresses during this morning's ceremony.
Today's official signing of a joint declaration of intent between Parliament and the UN signifies a key milestone in our continued effort to accelerate the 2030 agenda towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. The journey that brought us here has been one of the continued active collaboration and engagement, which we aim to further strengthen through the formalization of this partnership agreement here today with the people of Belize at the center of our actions. Of course, the signing ceremony today is yet the start of another chapter in this journey, and I think more important even. In first setting the background, I would like to share some key notes on the importance of partnership to the United Nations system. These remain at the core of the SDGs and the 2030 agenda. They have a development goal by themselves, number 17.
It really started as far back as 2021, as she made note in her remarks, the opportunity for us to at least first present to the Parliament, the House and the Senate, the work of the UN country team in Belize. And it is through that initiative that the conversations really began to see how else could we collaborate. As Madam President in her welcome remarks, I thought made very clear, the Parliament, House and Senate is more than just what we see on a rowdy Friday or on a rowdy Tuesday. Maybe not so much Tuesday, Madam President, as you mentioned. It is more than that. That is obviously the legislature aspect of it on those days are particularly important. But there is a role, an obligation, a responsibility of the presiding officers of both chambers to ensure that members of Parliament are equipped with the tools for them to be the best that they can be in Parliament for their constituencies.
A man and his common-law wife were today remanded to the Belize Central Prison on gun-related charges. 24-year-old Charles August and 30-year-old Eloise Baldares of Antelope Street, Belize City, pleaded not guilty to possession of a firearm and 6 live rounds of ammunition. In court, they were each read 1 count of kept firearm without a gun license and 1 count of kept ammunition without being granted a gun license. Allegations are that on Wednesday, the pair had a black pistol .22 revolver along with 6 live rounds of ammunition. Due to the nature of the offenses, they were denied bail and were remanded into custody until January 2023. 27-year-old Malcolm Morris Baptist, a warehouse keeper, and 23-year-old Zachary Tun, a maintenance worker of Santa Clara Village Corzal District, appeared unrepresented in the magistrate's court earlier today, where they pleaded guilty to charges of theft and handling stolen goods. Baptist was first to be arraigned on 1 count of handling stolen goods for a television wall mount that is the property of Design Depot. Opting not to waste the court's time, Baptist told the senior magistrate that he cooperated with the police investigation and returned the television wall mount. Baptist was ultimately fined $550 plus cost of court. Zachary Tun was up next. He was charged with theft and also pleaded guilty. He was subsequently fined for $1,420 and was given until March 31st, 2023 to pay the fine, or in default, he will spend 3 months in prison. When we return, Taiwan and Belize sign off on another urban resilience project.
My lights, yeah. Go to my lights, go to my lights. You gotta go to my lights, yeah. I wanna shine, 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 shine. I hit my lights cause that's my plan, 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 plan. My lights have your favorite brand, 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 brand. Just come with nothing in your hands, 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 hands. My lights, and it goes on and on and on. It goes on and on and on, yeah. I wanna celebrate with my lights, sing yeah, yo, baby let's go. My lights, I wanna celebrate with my lights, sing yeah, yo, baby let's go. We going to the stores, but we gon' do right. We gon' light a life, only with my light. We going to the stores, but we gon' do right. We gon' light a life, only with my light.
I had a black dog. His name was Depression. Whenever the black dog made an appearance, I felt empty and life just seemed to slow down. he could surprise me with a visit for no reason or occasion. The black dog made me look and feel older than my years. When the rest of the world seemed to be enjoying life, I could only see it through the black dog. Activities that usually brought me pleasure suddenly ceased to. He liked to ruin my appetite. He chewed up my memory and my ability to concentrate. Doing anything or going anywhere with the black dog required superhuman strength. At social occasions, he'd sniff out what confidence I had and chase it away. My biggest fear was being found out. I worried that people would judge me. Because of the shame and stigma of the black dog, I was constantly worried that I'd be found out. So I invested vast amounts of energy into covering him up. Keeping up an emotional lie is exhausting. Black dog could make me think and say negative things. He could make me irritable and difficult to be around. He would take my love and bury my intimacy. He loved nothing more than to wake me up with highly repetitive and negative thinking. He also liked to remind me how exhausted I was going to be the next day. Having a black dog in your life isn't so much about feeling a bit down, sad or blue. At its worst, it's about being devoid of feeling altogether. As I got older, the black dog got bigger and he started hanging around all the time. I'd chase him off with whatever I thought might send him running. But more often than not, he'd come out on top. Going down became easier than getting up again. So I became rather good at self-medication, which never really helped. Eventually, I felt totally isolated from everything and everyone. The black dog had finally succeeded in hijacking my life. When you lose all joy in life, you can begin to question what the point of it is. Thankfully, this was the time that I sought professional help. This was my first step towards recovery and a major turning point in my life. I learned that it doesn't matter who you are, the black dog affects millions and millions of people. It is an equal opportunity mongrel. I also learned that there was no silver bullet or magic pill. Medication can help some, and others might need a different approach altogether. I also learned that being emotionally genuine and authentic to those who are close to you can be an absolute game changer. Most importantly, I learnt not to be afraid of the black dog, and I taught him a few new tricks of my own. The more tired and stressed you are, the louder he barks, so it's important to learn how to quiet your mind. It's been clinically proven that regular exercise can be as effective for treating mild to moderate depression as antidepressants, so go for a walk or a run and leave the mutt behind. Keep a mood journal. Getting your thoughts on paper can be cathartic and often insightful. Also keep track of the things that you have to be grateful for. The most important thing to remember is that no matter how bad it gets, if you take the right steps, talk to the right people, black dog days can and will pass. I wouldn't say that I'm grateful for the black dog, but he's been an incredible teacher. He forced me to reevaluate and simplify my life. I learnt that rather than running away from my problems, it's better to embrace them. The black dog may always be part of my life, but he'll never be the beast that he was. We have an understanding. I've learned through knowledge, patience, discipline and humour, the worst black dog can be made to heal. If you're in difficulty, never be afraid to ask for help. There is absolutely no shame in doing so. The only shame is missing out on life.
It's that time of the year when all that stands between you and all of this is...
Give me 5, give me 5, give me 5!
That's all it takes. Get your coupons at Channel 5 and Coney Drive and Channel 5's website. Then, starting Monday, December 5th, keep those phones close and tune in to Channel 5 at 8 p.m. as we start our nightly giveaways until Friday, December 9th. Remember, when the phone rings, don't say
hello.
Say, give me 5.
An official ceremony to mark the closing for Phase 1 of the Belize Urban Resilience and Disaster Prevention Project was held in Belmopan today. It was carried out through partnership between the government of Belize and the Embassy of the Republic of China, Taiwan. The celebration also led to the signing of the flood warning capacity improvement for the Belize River Basin project, which will see further work done along the Belize River and to help with data collection and building the resiliency of the country. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Today, Minister of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management Orlando Habet and Taiwanese Ambassador to Belize David Kwan Chow Chien signed off an agreement to improve Belize's resilience through the flood warning capacity improvement for the Belize River Basin project.
We needed this assistance for our work that we are doing in terms of building resilience in our communities, especially those that will assist us in an early warning system, which was part of the entire goal and concept of the first phase of the program, building that climate resilience, flood warning, early warning system. Work that was done in San Ignacio, in Bulitri, building culverts and larger drainage systems to get the water out. They are always willing to assist. We must recognize that they have plenty of technology that can assist not only countries like us that are developing countries, but even countries with emerging economies. And so we believe that whatever support we can give, we try to give Taiwan.
It comes on the heels of another project which officially concluded today and focused on urban resilience and disaster prevention in the West.
The first phase, we set up the 4 hydrometeorological station in San Ignacio and Bulitri village area, so you can collect the data on the Macau River and the Mopan River, so we can see the water rising and down, and we can collect the rain data. So we combine these two data. We can do some modeling. So we have the flood potential map. So that this map can use it for the forecast to this area for the people.
Essentially, what we're trying to do then is to build the data, information, technology as it relates to flood warning and building resilience and responsiveness to these early flood warning systems. As we saw in the recent Hurricane Julia and the floods in San Ignacio, Santa Elena area, we get these floods, but we are not able to provide the type of response that is required in terms of early response that is required. So people within the San Ignacio Dongtong area, for example, that with the type of information that we build from these projects, then we're able to warn them effectively. So within 2 or 3 hours, that based on the rainfall, the ongoing rainfall or projected rainfall, that this is the type of effects that we expect. And so this type of systems can help to build the early warnings and help to build the resilience so that there's less losses and less damages to people.
And so the new project, which is valued at over $1.2 million US, will take about 3 years to be completed. The data collected, says CEO Dr. Kenrick Williams, will help to inform those at risk of potential flooding disasters along the Belize River.
So we're going to be installing these hydrological stations throughout the Belize River Basin, all the way down to Belize City, so that, again, we can, based on the rainfall, based on the flood we can generate these flood extent map and kind of have a better idea of where we will see the type of flood impact. So how will it affect Bermudan Landing, or how will it affect Ladyville, and what extent? Is it just around the river banks? Is it going to extend to key parts of the villages and the communities? This information can then help us to respond better.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
The Taiwanese embassy has awarded its Distinguished Alumni Award to CEO in the ministry in the Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management, Dr. Kenrick Williams. Williams was nominated earlier this year, having studied in Taiwan for 6 years, obtaining both a master's degree and a PhD. He had been instrumental in exchange programs in Taiwan. Today, during a closing ceremony held in Belmopan, the Taiwanese ambassador to Belize announced that Dr. Williams was successfully chosen as one of 10 awardees worldwide. Williams spoke about the honor in receiving the award.
I was selected as one of these distinguished alumni, and so it is indeed an honor to be selected. But as I indicated in this brief ceremony, that the partnership between Belize and Taiwan, the level of development, the trajectory of development, the story of development in Taiwan is something that we see the opportunities in Belize, and through my position at the ministry, we've had the opportunities then to build a relationship, to share the story of Belize and Taiwan, and then to support some of these opportunities and address and build some of those opportunities in Belize. And for me, the being in Taiwan was part of being an ambassador for Belize, and then coming back is now being that ambassador and a support for Taiwan. We, first group of Belizean students who established the Belize Association students in Taiwan to really help to build a space for Belizeans to engage, share the culture, the experience of Belize, but also to learn opportunities. We had spaces where we brought in the students who are doing various research and shared that information among Belizeans, because there are several students in Taiwan who are doing research on Belize on important topics, whether it's the study site is in Belize or in Taiwan, but the information is critical for Belize. So we started to build those spaces. I also worked with the Global Talent Entrepreneur Association in Taiwan, and was exposed to a lot of the businesses, the private sector, and some of the work they were doing there in Taiwan. We built some collaboration with University of Belize, with the youth mentorship program at the time, and so really tried to build and be an individual member in building that actively building that relationship between the two countries.
The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, in collaboration with the International Funds for Agriculture Development and the Procasser Corporation from Chile, hosted a 5-day business capacity and skills building exercise for agricultural organizations across the country. Procasser applied its Learning Route tool, a mechanism developed by the company to build management capacity through shared experiences and studies. The week-long training was intended for the 17 participants to exchange good practices and develop innovations that can be implemented in the individual context of each organization. We spoke with Pedro Boarrito, the project coordinator for FAO, via Zoom from his office in Chile, about the program.
Last week, we had what we call learning route. It's a methodology for facilitating the exchange of experiences between champions or best practices, and that focus on empowering and putting the center of the attentions in the solutions that we have in the field. So it's not FAOs or Procasur, which is our co-implementing partner, sharing their experiences, but we are facilitating the exchange, the peer-to-peer exchange. This national learning route is part of a program that is called Farmers Organizations for Africa, the Caribbean, and Pacific. It's a global program that FAO is implementing in the Caribbean region, and Belize is one of the countries. And this program aims to strengthen the capacity of farmers organizations and support their development as accountable organizations, but also as organizations that can provide services and support their members. So the learning route is part of the activities that we have, aiming, as I said, to connect these different farmers, these different experiences under a common methodology, under a common framework, in order to develop innovation. We want to foster the innovations between the participants, and this is what we were doing during last week in Belize. Together with Procasur's team, we started to identify who could be the best practices, the organizations that presented some of the solutions that could inspire and could plant the seed with the participants of the learning route. We also have the support of the Ministry of Agriculture on this process. So we identified the knowledge demand, the priorities from the organizations, and based on that, we identified the cases and the solutions that could somehow sparkle this innovation process that the learning route fostered.
This event was held in San Ignacio town. 4 organizations were selected to host case studies and share their experiences and best practices in rural enterprise development. They are the Valley of Peace Lagoon Farmers Cooperative Society Limited, Sabal's Food Products, Couragery Belize Limited, and Hibiscus Mayan Arts and Craft Women's Cooperative. Today, the Belize Police Department held its officers' conference at the National Police Training Academy in Belmopan. It is held to chart the way forward for the department and the policing strategy going into the new year. It's a time used to refocus, and News 5's Dwayne Moody was allowed to attend, even if only briefly for the preliminary part of the presentations. Here's his report.
Senior officers within the police department, from the rank of inspector up to commissioner of police, gathered along with their political leaders, Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa and CEO Kevin Arters, to discuss the crime-fighting strategy for the year 2023. The All-Officers Conference was an all-day event.
The last time we had one was in 2019. It is where the commissioner takes the opportunity to refocus, if you will, or address some of the issues that might be affecting the department from the management level, so that they go back and then implement whatever is discussed today to the rank and file of the department.
So the takeaway is?
The takeaways is to officers will be in a better position to know where we are and where do we want to go, especially we're winding down into the this year and going into 2023. So it's kind of like a focus direction kind of meeting.
It was also an opportunity to look at what is working and where improvements need to be made in the way the department interfaces with various stakeholders and neighborhood leaders. Leadership Intervention Unit Director William Dawson made a presentation on the successful year.
Working with the communities, working with the police and getting that support is very key to the success of the program. And we've seen where the police department has allowed the stakeholders to host the interventions and interact with these neighborhood leaders, bringing them to the table to discuss what some of their issues are. Like I mentioned earlier, we have been able to ascertain that a lot of what we've seen so far amongst the guys are a lack of emotional intelligence, coming to the table to express themselves as male. And we believe that the culture of masculinity in Belize has to change, and the conversation begins with these so-called gang members who we have seen have issues expressing themselves emotionally and use violent means to approach every situation they're faced with. And so it's going well, and we appreciate the efforts of the police department. We have the commitment of the Minister of Police, Minister Karim Musa, the Compo and Dr. Osado and many senior officers as we go forward, and we really appreciate that, because we're trying to close the gap even more between the police and the community.
Deputy Commissioner of Police Bart Jones says that the key is the multi-sectoral approach to addressing crime and violence in the country.
Problems that the department faces continue to, the issue of crime and the murders is one of the key areas of concern, because as the Commissioner always said, any life loss is one too much, and so that will certainly, the crime statistics is certainly a focus, but generally we believe that we are doing well as a department, and it is just for us to refocus, test and adjust our policies to go into as we go into 2023.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Just ahead, single mother, businesswoman, furniture maker, boss, all in one.
Belize Dara Cyber Home Theatre presents a tribute to the late great Otis Redding on Saturday, December 10th, 2022. It's an all-white affair and dance, live music by Mr. Mellow Madness Metro, live DVD performance of Otis Redding on the big screen.
Think about it, baby. Listen, you really ought to think about it.
Bring out the entire family to the Ex-Servicemen League on 158 Newtown Barracks on Saturday, December 10th, 2022 from 8 p.m. until. Entrance is only $10.
I'll let nothing separate us.
How are we to measure the success of our lives? For many, an ordinary life should have the following: a job, a house, enough money to buy a new car. But what if we threw out the ordinary? What could escaping ordinary at our jobs do? How about for our marriages? What if I told you we could all be escaping ordinary? Join us as we begin our new series.
It's that time of the year when all that stands between you and all of this is...
Give me 5. Give me 5. Give me 5.
That's all it takes. Get your coupons at Channel 5 and Coney Drive and Channel 5's website. Then, starting Monday, December 5th, keep those phones close and tune in to Channel 5 at 8 p.m. as we start our nightly giveaways until Friday, December 9th. Remember, when the phone rings, don't say
hello.
Say, give me 5. Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
We all know what wooden pallets are. Those wooden planks nailed together that resemble rafts and are used as structural foundations for goods that are shipped from one location to another. After use, pallets are often disposed of or nailed together as makeshift bridges over swampland or used as fences. But today, News 5's Marian Ali visited a single mother who has found better use for pallets. She makes affordable furniture out of pallets that can be used in any home. Here's that report.
Meet Melanie Yestra, a mother, widow, self-made businesswoman and boss in a field of work that is traditionally dominated by men. She is the founder and owner of Pallet Masters Furniture, a furniture company that, as the name implies, are made solely of wooden pallets.
We make furniture, we make bars, we make TV stands, we make center tables, we also recycle anything. You bring bed heads, you bring anything, we make it out of something. We make benches, we make anything. We customize anything. We bring it, we do it for you. You name it, we do it.
Melanie first started making pallet furniture in 2017, when hardly anyone was doing so. What piqued her interest to start that kind of business was her interest in recycling, she says.
Seeing things that people throw away, and I can pick it up and make something out of it, and it's money. And my dream is to make my business big and also give Belizeans work.
While some people may scoff at pallets as furniture, Melanie says that pallets are also other people's choice.
It's a new fashion of furniture. Instead of mahogany, instead of negrito, instead of anything, siricote or whatever. But pallet is strong, it doesn't get termites, and it doesn't rotten easily. Some pallets come really like thin, some of them come thick, and you have to pick which ones to use for make beds and make tables and stuff like that. So the thin ones, we use it for making like these things right here, the hammers and the wine racks and things like that. That's what we use, the thin ones. But they're poisoned already, and we also treat them with the termite thing. I have not had one client says, Miss Mel, my pallet furniture get the termites.
Melanie's first employee was a relative who taught her how the work is done. Now she hires 2 young men and applies the knowledge she gained 5 years ago to work with her team. For her, gender should not define who does or doesn't do this kind of work.
Now I can defend myself and build my own things, and I don't see it as a man's job, I see it as my job.
But COVID and some other challenges forced Melanie to shutter her business a couple years ago. It's clear that it has been a rough intermission for her, but now she's ready to pick up where she left off.
Trying to get up and having people not believing in you hurts, but as a woman, I'm not a giver-upper. I keep on going. I recently teamed up with Beltrade and I registered the business of Pallet Masters Furniture, and then I applied for a loan in DFC, so I'm hoping that to expand my business and not only do pallets, but doing tires, pipes, and all kind of things, and also to give Belizeans jobs.
So you're recycling other things?
Yes, ma'am, I'm recycling everything. Anybody who have plywood, pallets, or those... No, if anybody wants to come and donate it to our spot, if it's bothering them, call me on 671-0280. I have a truck. I'll go pick it up myself, me and my kids along, and then any stain or anything that you guys are rejecting or whatever, I buy it and I'll make use of it.
But this ambitious woman also wants to convert a small trailer she has into a food booth early in 2023. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
And in case you were wondering about the prices, a queen-size bed foundation with drawers and 2 nightstands cost $695. If you would like to inquire about the prices, the other pieces of furniture, or to make an order, you can reach Milene Yestra at cell number 671-0280. Legendary Belizean artist Andy Palacio would have celebrated his 62nd birthday tomorrow, December 2nd. The UNESCO Artist for Peace passed away 14 years ago, but his legacy in Garifuna music lives on. Earlier today, we spoke with Sebastian Cayetano and Pearl Miranda about the annual commemoration of Andy P's birthday.
Andy Palacio is from Barranco Village. He was born in Barranco on the 2nd of December, 1960. So tomorrow would be his 62nd birthday. And like good luck, Bolito played 26 last night.
What is, perhaps for people who don't know the legacy, the musical contributions and perhaps the cultural contributions of Andy Palacio, what does this mean for Belize and for the Garifuna community?
Okay, this means a lot, because Andy Palacio with Paul Nabor and eventually Aurelio Martinez from Honduras really took Garifuna to its pinnacle in the heyday of Andy Palacio. Regrettably, he died a little too soon, too early. In 2008, Andy Palacio achieved the Artist of Peace Award for Central America and the Caribbean. That was such a great honor for us all, you know. But sadly, he died 3 months later, 19 January 2008. But since then, Andy Palacio left us a great legacy, and he begged us to cherish and to promote, continue this legacy to live on. The Garifuna culture, music, dance, etc.
I'll be having live drummings at my house today in memory of my cousin Andy Palacio. And tomorrow I'll be heading to Barranco village where we lay his body to rest.
Talk to us about your relationship that you had with Andy Palacio and perhaps how his legacy lives on through what you're doing to promote Garifuna culture.
Well, first of all, he's my cousin, and we were very close, very, very close. And I think it's right for us to continue to celebrate his life, and I was the person that started doing this for him.
What are we doing tomorrow to commemorate his birthday?
Tomorrow, we are having a Mass of Tribute at St. Martin de Porres Church at 6 p.m. To honor Andy Palacio on his 62nd birthday. All Belizeans are invited. All Garinogo, non-Garinogo, everyone is invited to this Mass tomorrow at 6 p.m. at St. Martin's Church. The Garifuna Choir will also be there to lead the singing.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.